All right, so the last video I had just my facial features drawn. So the eyes, the nose, the mouth. And the next step was to draw the face shape and the hairline. And I've already started to do that, but I'm going to talk to you about how I go about doing that and what I'm thinking about when I do that. So, of course, I have this next to me, and I realize it's a little dark for you to see on camera. However, what I have done here is I have drawn along that line that is my jaw, my chin, all the way up here next to my eyes. I'm starting to draw around my hair, the hairline. So I'm going to start looking at that. And almost always what happens, it's hard to see. My original drawing for my head was like all the way out here. But now I am working on what do I see proportionally between my eye and the edge of my face there. So eye and the edge of the face. So oftentimes I use a tool. I call this a tool, but I've been using my pencil before, right? I've been measuring there. Another tool I use is just simply a piece of paper. So I take my paper, this is the length of my eye, and then I'm going to move it over here, and I see that is about half an eye length. All right, so what do I do here? I measure the length of my eye. I go find half an eye length. So that means the side of my face right there is in a lot more than what I've drawn. So I don't want you to get too carried away with the hair yet. It's really important to get the face shape. So right here, there's usually like some kind of inner curve before your cheek and your cheekbone kind of bump out. Again, really sketchy and light because I'm drawing light until I know I've got it right. Once I know it's right, then I can start darkening if I need to, or in this case, I'm going to start adding shading. So I am looking at this. Another thing I like to do is I like to compare that line, this line right here, to a vertical line. And oftentimes I will actually draw a straight line on my drawing and my photo. Again, it's a really light line. It's a guideline. And what I can see here is that when it starts to depart from vertical, or where it starts to curve, one thing a lot of people have a problem with is just this length here. So from the corner of your mouth over, and it is at an angle, usually that is about one eye length. So let's look. There's an eye length. If I use this to measure, it's not quite an eye length, is it, for me, if I go at that angle. So I'm going to come over to that same angle. I'm about where I need to be there. So your jaw, you have to really look for that curve that happens kind of right at the corner of your mouth, the corners of your mouth. All right. Looks to me my chin's a little bit wider down here. So again, over here, it's more prominent. I have this cheekbone that pops out or bumps out right after my eye line. I can see a little bit of my ear. If you can see your ears, this is the time to draw them. I really can't, just that one. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is my hairline up there. So my hairline, this is where a lot of people have a hard time. So I am looking at, I'm going to see if I can lighten this for you a little bit. Okay. So I am looking at the distance from my hairline to like the middle of my eyes, and I kind of look there. So if I take the middle of my eye and go up, here's another way to measure. It is about the distance from the middle of my eye to my bottom lip for me. So bottom of the lip, okay. So that's gonna come up a little bit. Now over here, I have, it's a shorter distance. So the middle of my eye up to that's kind of part of my bangs, my hair is sweeping over. And then I move it, so that's to the middle of my mouth. Okay. So I think that is something that's common for people. They don't give you enough forehead space there. And now once I have my hairline in, I am going to start working on my neck. So my neck, I can see a little bit of it here and here. And then my shoulders, which is actually the sweater I'm wearing. So I'm going to find where that contact point is. Where does it touch my chin there? More here, I guess. And then what does it do? That. So the shoulders, I'm looking at what does that line, how does it slope? Comparing that line to that line. Okay, now here this is all hair. Okay, so it's time to do the hair. The first line that I want you to draw is just the outer line of your hair as like a mass or a helmet. So imagine you're like a Lego figure and you're going to click on the hair. That is the line that we're going to draw first, just as if it were a solid mass. So think Lego figure hair. All right. So Lego figure hair. It's going to come over here. And always have to switch between my drawing and my photo. Gonna look here. Now every strand of hair is not that important. It's really looking at the mass of your hair. And what you can look at is right here, how much width is there out to the side of your hair. Now, certainly, if you don't like your hair in your photograph, you could always look at a different photograph. So let's say on the day that you had your picture made that you had a ponytail in if you're a girl, or it had pulled back and you don't want to draw your hair like that. You can switch that. So this is an important distance to look at because your hair kind of sits on top of your skull. So I'm looking at this distance here. You can see a little bit better. This distance here, this distance here, that big distance. So your hair is, you have to think of it as a volume or a mass. All right, so at this point, I'm pretty much done with my line drawing. I don't have a lot of detail in my hair. I don't need it right now, but what I want to look for is it a good likeness? So as I look at it and I compare, I feel like I've been looking at it so much, I cannot actually tell if it looks like me. So this is where I would go have a friend look at it, or a parent or somebody in your house. You could put it online, but when I don't have somebody that I can give feedback, what I do is I flip my papers upside down. So if you are working with a computer, you would need to take your photograph and flip it upside down, and you want to look at these side by side, back and forth. And when you look at them side by side, back and forth, I'm going to be erasing some of these guidelines. I am really now honing in on these relationships. So right here, I don't know if I have enough length in my chin. So if I don't know if I have enough length in my chin, I'm going to measure. There's my eye. There's my bottom lip to my chin is one eye length. So I'm going to do that over here. Here's my eye. Then I'm going to go, oh, no, it's right. So sometimes when you're like, I don't know, and you double check it and it's right, that just gives you the confidence. This is about building these skills to say, is this correct? Does it look like me? And honestly, at this point, if I am thinking, oh, gee, it really doesn't look like me, I turn it upside down. I'm not really seeing anything different or any changes. I actually just need to take a break from it. So I think I am at as far as I can be with my line drawing before I start shading. So I want to go erase any of these, and sometimes just getting rid of the guidelines will do it. Get rid of any of these guidelines, and then I will be ready for the next step, which is actually shading.